Namaskar. Today I will tell you about the water table maps. Water table maps are very important in the groundwater investigation. Water table is the upper surface of zone of saturation. It separates the zone of aeration and zone of saturation. So, in the study of groundwater conditions of an area, preparation of water table maps is necessary. Without the preparation of water table maps, we cannot understand the groundwater conditions or hydrogeological conditions of the area. In this connection, today I will highlight the following aspects during this lecture. Number 1, water table and pressure surface. Number 2, importance of water table. Number 3, groundwater maps. In groundwater maps, first water table maps, second pressure surface map, third depth to water table map, fourth groundwater fluctuation map, fifth hydraulic difference map, and sixth is groundwater quality map. So, these are the type of groundwater maps. Next, preparation and construction of water table maps, evaluation and interpretation of water table maps. In this, we discuss about the flow direction, flow in relation to groundwater contours, flow across the water table, flow across the hydraulic conductivity boundary, hydraulic gradient, groundwater features or conditions, groundwater mounds, ridges and hills, groundwater depressions, basins and holes, groundwater divide, groundwater trench, nature of stream, radial resistance, and in the last, utility of water table maps. Before we prepare water table maps, we understand what is water table. So, water table is very important. There are two aquifers, confined aquifers and unconfined aquifers. You know, if a well pierces the unconfined aquifer, the water level in this well is represent the water table. If a well pierces the confined aquifer, the water level in this well is the pressure surface. It represents the hydroelectric pressure in the confined aquifer. So, in preparation of water table maps, these are very important. In unconfined aquifer, suppose there is change in the water table or there is a rise or fall in the water table, there is change in the storage, change of volume of in in from the storage. But if there is a change, rise or fall took place in the pressure surface, it represents the change in the hydrostatic pressure of the aquifer, not the change in the storage. So, confined aquifers display a little change in storage. This is about the water table and pressure surface. Water table is the upper surface of the zone of saturation, but pressure surface is an imaginary surface coinciding with the water level of confined aquifer, representing the hydrostatic pressure in it. So, this is a hydrostatic pressure level in the confined aquifer. Next, importance of water table. Water table is very important. It gives so many clues to understand the groundwater conditions, depth of the water table, if water table is high or water table is low. So, first water table separates, I have told you, the zone of saturation and zone of aeration. Its fluctuation is also very important, because water table is higher in the post monsoon season, after the rainy season, and deeper in the pre monsoon season, before the rainy season. Water table is the surface above which forces are acting and below which forces are acting. Above the water table, molecular, collider and film forces are acting, but below the ground, below the water table, gravity forces are acting. But gravity forces is not appreciably affected by the other forces. Now, slope of the water table is very important. water table map be prepared, it is a graphic representation of the height gradient or the slope of the water table. Movement of the groundwater is indicated by the downslope. Towards the downslope, groundwater movement took place. So, it is from the water table we can understand the slope of the water table, where the slope water will move in the downward slope. When outcrops of water table took place and subject to surface area, it will give you the influent or the effluent seepage. Influent took place where the water table is below the stream channels, and effluent took place when the water table intersected with the river. So, there is a effluent river. For effluent river we will call gaining river, and influent river we will call losing river. Next thing, when outcrop of water table on the ground surface appears in the form of springs, or where permanently moistened surface area is there, swamps are there, or there is a change in the vegetation from phytophytes to non-phytophytes. Now, topography is also very important. The existence of water table depends upon the surface topography. So, there is a rule that is known as water table is the subdued replica of the surface topography. So, if you determine about the water table, you draw the profile and water table will run parallel to the surface contours. Otherwise, suppose area is subjected to the tectonic activity, this will be not true, but in general it will be true. From the geological, purely geological point of view, water table separates two belts. Above the water table, this is belt of weathering, oxidation, reduction and the solution. It separates underlying belt of mineral precipitation and rock cementation. Now, with the help of water table contours map is prepared. So, water table contour map or water table map is the same. They will tell you about the movement of the groundwater, and this by taking consideration of the water table maps are prepared, and they will give you the direction of the movement of the water table, and this map which is prepared by taking consideration of the water table is very useful map for the groundwater conditions of the area. So, first water table maps, it is a map prepared by taking into consideration wells of tapping the unconfined aquifers. So, water level we have taken that represent the water table, and with the help of these data we prepare the water table map. If we consider the pressure surface of the confined aquifers, and by considering the pressure surface or water levels of the confined aquifers, that is pressure surface, this map will become the pressure surface map. So, water table map is meant for the unconfined aquifer, pressure surface is meant for the confined aquifers. Next is depth to water table map. Depth to water table map is also important. By taking the depth with the help of the steel tape of the water level, only this data when we plot on the location of each well, a depth to water table map is considered, and it is useful in the study of the continuation of the drainage, and depth to water table also will tell you about the configuration of the depth of the water table, where the depth is shallow of the water table, where the depth of the water table is very high, by we can easily know from the depth to water table map. Next map is groundwater fluctuation map. Groundwater fluctuation map is prepared by taking the fluctuation of the pre-monsoon water table and the post-monsoon water table. At least we take the water level in these two periods, before the rainy season and after the rainy season, and we take the difference in the level of these, and put these value on each location of the well, and we prepare the water table fluctuation map. Water table fluctuation map is very useful in the study of the areas where groundwater recharge took place or not. These depth to water table maps are very useful for giving a site for the construction of the recharge structure. Where groundwater fluctuation is more, we consider the site, but where the groundwater recharge is groundwater fluctuation is more, it is not good site for the recharge purpose. So, this is about the depth to water table map. Hydraulic head difference map. This map is prepared when there are multi aquifer present, just like in the alluvial formation. 2-3 confined aquifers are there. So, if we take first upper confined aquifer, we will take the pressure surface of these aquifer, then we will take the, suppose second well is piezometer is drilled for taping the second aquifer, we will take the pressure surface of this map. Difference of both maps is considered and the map is prepared. That map will be give you the hydraulic difference map. This map is also useful in the study of the pressure surface, where the pressure surface is more, where the pressure surface is less. Generally, the pressure surface is higher in the recharge area and it is less towards the it is less away from the recharge area. Next map is the groundwater quality map. By considering the groundwater quality parameter such as electrical conductivity, total dissolved solids, SAR, concentration of bicarbonates, chlorides, these quality data we take and we plot the data on the each location of the well and we prepare the equal value of contours, then these maps are known as groundwater quality maps and generally they are represented with the help of the contours. So, they are known as isoconductivity map if we are considering electrical conductivity, isonitrate, isochloride, isobicarbonate, isosar, etc. Preparation and construction of the water table map. This is very important. For the preparation of the water table map, we require topographic map of the area. On the topographic map, existing wells or dug wells or tube wells there, we mark these wells, location of these wells on this topographic map. Then we determine the reduced level of these wells and then we with the help of the tape, we measure the water table if they are puncturing the unconfined aquifer. Then we mark the reduced level of the water table. Because we know the reduced level from the measuring point, we minus the depth from that reduced level of the ground surface, reduced level of water table will come, and by considering a certain contour interval we draw the contour. So, our water table map is prepared and constructed. Water table contours are known as equipotential lines and flow lines should be drawn. Flow lines are nothing but they are the direction of the movement of groundwater. So, water table generally has two types of lines, one is flow lines, another is equipotential line. They constitute the water table map. So, by considering water table, map is prepared, map is ready for the interpretation. After the preparation of the water table map, important question arises how we will interpret the map, how we will evaluate the map. This is very important task. Everybody can prepare the water table map, but interpretation of water table map is not so easy. We should do some study about the. So, in interpretation of the water table map, first we will determine the flow direction. Flow direction in water table contour map is perpendicular to the tangent of the contours. We draw a tangent of the contour and mark the flow lines, and with these flow lines show the arrow. Arrow is towards the downstream side where the groundwater flows. After this, we will study the flow in relation to groundwater contours. Here you will see that groundwater contours are closely spaced or groundwater contours are widely spaced. There is a diagram you can see, there is a two section At one section contours are closely spaced, another section contours are widely spaced. So, we will take area W1 there, that is the width section of the area from which flow took place. Next section W2. So, groundwater flow is W1 and V1, W2 and V2 is those two sections. From here, if we put the hydraulic conductivity W1 K1 V1 equal to W2 K2 V2. So, if from this equation we will take the ratio K1 upon K2 equal to the I2 upon I1, where I2 and I1 are the hydraulic gradient at the two section, number 1 section and number 2 section. It represents that if the contours are widely closed, they show the flat gradient and they will indicate the greater hydraulic conductivity or conductivity is very high in this region, and the narrow closely spaced contours show the narrow gradient, means the hydraulic conductivity is very low. So, we can by the spacing of the contour we can determine the qualitatively the hydraulic conductivity of an area. Flow across a water table. In this study, this is very important. As long as no flow crosses the water table, it will become a bounding surface. If suppose water table is inclined, there is a diagram you can see, water table is refracted, it does not parallel to the water table, it makes an angle. So, in this study, velocity of flow is greater than 0, the flow lines deviate slightly, it will make an angle with the normal, means it is refracted. But suppose velocity of flow is 0, it will be a parallel to the water table. This is about the flow in across the water table. Then flow across the hydraulic conductivity boundary. This is also important. When in the water table map, if you prepare, you see there is a deviation in the equipotential lines or groundwater movement direction. Why it took place? The explanation regarding this, that if a flow, groundwater flow crosses two types of hydraulic conductivity, then the flow lines will deviate from it. For example, suppose upper layer or upper water bearing formation has K1 hydraulic conductivity and lower water table has the K2, and flow direction is from this direction. If you go crosses the boundary, it will refracted. So, suppose K1 is the upper conductivity, hydraulic conductivity of the upper layer, K2 is the hydraulic conductivity of the, then K1 K2 equal to tan theta 1 upon tan theta 2. If we take the ratio of these two hydraulic conductivities of two different layer, it will give you the tangent of the theta 1 angle and tangent of the theta 2 angle. Theta 1 and theta 2 are shown in the diagram there. Now, I will tell you about the hydraulic gradient. Hydraulic gradient is the slope of the water table, and water table map is a graphic representation of the hydraulic gradient. Hydraulic gradient tells about the velocity of the water, groundwater, and the permeability of the aquifer. Hydraulic gradient is directly proportional to the velocity and inversely proportional to the permeability. So, there is a Darcy law is there, V equal to K into I, where V is the velocity, K is the hydraulic conductivity, A is the hydraulic gradient. So, in the study of the water table map, determination of the hydraulic gradient is very important. Always it is easy to determine from the map. Map is there, there are three contours are drawn. You see the map, we take the distance, what is the scale of the map, you see for suppose 1 centimeter equal to 1 kilometer, and there is a distance comes between three contours is 2 centimeter, and there is a waterfall about the 10 meter. It means in 2 kilometer water level is falls 10 meter. So, in 1 centimeter it will come 5 meter. So, this will be known as 1 centimeter per 5 kilometer is the hydraulic gradient, because this tell you about the velocity of the water. Movement of groundwater flow always took place towards the down slope. So, hydraulic gradient is very important parameter in the study of the water table map. Next is the groundwater features. You see the map is there, groundwater mounds or ridges or hills. These are formed when the recharge took place from the ground surface, or there is a groundwater flow took place upward from the lower aquifer. Here the aerial extent of the groundwater mounds depends upon their shape and size of the recharging basin, rate and duration of the recharge, stratigraphic configuration of the aquifer, and hydrologic properties of the unsaturated and saturated material. Next is the groundwater depression or groundwater holes or groundwater basin. These groundwater features are formed where the pumping of wells took place. Water table go down and they will represent the groundwater basin. And in the water table map, if you see, the area is very good for giving a new well site in the groundwater basin area. In the groundwater mound area, if you give the well site, it will become dry. The example is that if you dig a well in the hill region, you will not get the water, but you dig a well in the valley region, you will find tremendous groundwater available there. Next is the groundwater divide. Groundwater divide is just like the surface water divide. When in the water table map, you see the opposite direction of groundwater flow or flow lines along a line, this represents the groundwater divide. Just like in the surface water divide, suppose there are two basins, if rainwater will form, the water will go in this basin, water will go in the other basin in the opposite direction. So, this is just like so groundwater divide is also very important in the study of the groundwater. Next, groundwater trenches. When a stream gully or valley or drainage cut below the ground level of the water table, groundwater trench will form, and this trench will you see in the effluent rivers. There is a diagram. You see there are two effluent rivers are there. They cut below the groundwater level, and water is flowing them, and there is a inter-stream ridge also there in this diagram. You can see clearly there. This is about the groundwater trench. And now I will tell you nature of the stream. It is very important. Nature of the stream, whether how we can identify the effluent river and the influent river from the water table map. Now, shape of the water table contour is very important. You see, if there is a bend towards the upstream side, it will give you the effluent river, means this is a gaining river. If curvature of the curvature of the contour is towards the downstream side, it will give you the influent rivers. Influent rivers means water of the river goes toward in the groundwater. These influent rivers are very important for giving the site for the artificial recharge structure. You can construct artificial recharge structure on the influent site, influent river, not in the effluent river. Next thing is the radial resistance. Radial resistance is also depends upon the curvature of the water table contours in the vicinity of the river. If you find that there is a long and narrow bend in the vicinity of the river, it will show a high radial resistance. But if you find short and wide bend near the river, it will show the low radial resistance. Utility of the water table map. Why we prepare the water table map? What is the use? So, in the start of the lecture, I will tell you the importance. Now, I will tell you the water table map is a very good picture of the very good tool to understand the hydrogeological conditions of the area. If you prepare a accurate water table map of the area, you have taken the groundwater data very accurately, and you have done good well inventory in the there. Well inventory means for groundwater investigation, a field groundwater survey is done and we note down the details of wells in the field, they will give you the, for examples, depth of the water table, depth of the static water level, diameter of the well, date of taking the water level in the well, owner of the well, all these things come under the well inventory. There is a chart for field work. This chart is very important. We put all the details in the chart, then by seeing this chart we prepare the water table map. So, if suppose there is groundwater depression, in groundwater depression contours, water table contours are you will find in the circular form, they will form a basin. From this basin, if you can study, you can determine the transmissibility. So, one scientist, that is Lohmann, in the year 1972, he has given a formula that T, capital T, equal to 2 Q upon L1 plus L2 into delta H upon delta R, where T is the transmissibility, Q is the rate of discharge, L1 and L2 are the length of two consenting contours, delta H the contour interval, and delta R is the average distance between these two contours. If you put these value, you can determine the transmissibility of the area. So, you see, by preparing this water table map, you can consider the transmissibility of the aquifer. Another important thing, if you construct a flow net is nothing but if you plot flow lines and equipotential lines, that they will show the orthogonal patterns of a square, it is known as flow net. And flow net analysis is very important in the water table map, study of the water table map. By flow net, there is a diagram, you see equipotential lines are drawn and flow lines are drawn and squares are drawn there. From this squares, you see dm, this is the section from which flow took place, dm and ds, they are equal. So, their Heidler gradient is ds upon ds, and if you will see that total head loss is divided into n squares and total flow is divided into m channels of the, then we can determine the total flow from this aquifer, that is Q equal to K, capital K into M into H upon N, where Q is the total flow of the area, K is the Heidler conductivity of the area, M is the number of channel, H is the Heidler gradient or head loss, and there is N is the number of square. So, with the help of the flow net, we can determine total flow from the area. So, water table maps are so important, you can say that you can determine the how much total flow took place from the area, what is the transmissibility of the area, what is the direction of flow of the area, what is the depth of the water table, where you will get the higher conductivity and lower conductivity. I have told you that closely spaced contours show the low Heidler conductivity, whereas the widely spaced water table contours show the. So, you can have an idea about the qualitative idea, and on the basis of preparation of the water table maps, you can give the new well sites, where the new well sites is given or where the new wells are drilled, you can give the site, and this site will be very fruitful. You will get the tremendous groundwater basis on the basis of the water table contour maps. So, water table maps are very important. They must be prepared by taking the data from the well inventory, and water table is a just like topographic map of the groundwater surface, it will give you the topographic features. In the geological studies, base map is the topographic map, or it is known as topo sheets. If you study the topo sheet, you have an idea about the surface feature, surfacial feature, hills, valleys, rivers, plains, all these things you can get from the study of the topographic map. Drainage is there, vegetation is there. Similarly, by preparing the water table map, it will give you the water table surface map, and nowadays with the help of the computer, digital elevation model can be prepared, and this model, if you by computing program, you see this will give you the 3-dimensional picture of the water table surface. So, you can see clearly water table in 3 dimension if you prepare DEM model. This is very important. In this lecture, I have told you about the preparation of the water table map, their utility, how they are interpreted. Interpretation is very important, and you identify the groundwater features. There are maps I have given you there. Study of these maps is very important in any type of groundwater studies. A water table map is a base map for a hydrogeologist. Without the water table map, hydrogeologist cannot understand the hydrogeological conditions of an area. Thank you very much.